ISS Heart Transplant, open heart surgery to save the ISS from doom. It's already been up there 20 years since the shuttle used to go up there, and it had to be updated. These circuit boards are over 20 years old. This is what had to be replaced. Otherwise, the ISS would have been somehow in risk of plunging towards Earth. The heart transplant performed on the International Space Station after the astronauts were properly trained for replacing these circuits saved the orbital lab from falling out of orbit. This is according to the European Space Agency, as they revealed to us. Sebastian Kelly Express UK reports. The space station astronauts were forced to perform this quote-unquote open heart surgery on the ISS this year in order to extend the orbital outpost mission. It was carried out 250 miles up in space on the ISS, failing computers, which are almost 20 years into its mission. The European Space Agency, the ESA, likened this to open heart surgery due to the complexity of the mission. Many of the space station systems are controlled by Data Management Systems, or DMS, computers on the ISS Russia Zvezda module. Built 20 years ago by aerospace agent Airbus, ESA said the systems play a critical role to provide navigation, communications, and operations for the Russian part of the ISS. A breakdown of the computers, of course, could be catastrophic for the ISS and the 6 astronauts who call it home right now. It can be the home to up to 9 astronauts. Computers, though, were not built to last, and years of operations took a toll on their memory modules. As we can understand, technology has really advanced in these 20 years. The standard practice of swapping them out and sending them back to Earth for repair was deemed unsustainable. So in 2015, the decision was made to print new circuit boards that would help keep the ISS in orbit, and teams in Russia and Europe considered upgrading the computer boards directly by an astronaut on the space station in weightlessness. That's the equivalent of open heart surgery on Earth, they said. ESA says this was no easy task to demonstrate, considering the computers were not designed for maintenance on orbit, and the units were closed with small screws, sometimes even glued in place. And they go to say that much like preparing for a spacewalk, engineers and Russian cosmonauts practiced and demonstrated the process on Earth to ensure the operations were feasible and could be performed in space without risk. So once the circuit boards were assembled to be launched to the ISS in 2018, new teams of trained astronauts had to perform this quote-unquote open heart transplant. The operation was successful. It was carried out at the start of this year, and since then another of the space station's computers began experiencing failures in November. ESA said in January 2019, the older board was replaced with a new stock. At that time, cosmonauts confirmed that the computer had survived the operation, but were not yet certain that it was fully fit. Crew time, they said, in space is scarce, and the teams planned to wait for the next failure before installing the computer that had undergone a heart transplant and fully check it. Last month, one of the old computers had problems, and so it was removed and replaced with a new unit, end quote. So swapping out the faulty parts instead of the entire computer system, space agencies have saved both money and time in this way. It was a costly procedure of transporting replacement computers, and it went from a 6-month operation to a matter of days. ESA has confirmed all of the space station systems are now working properly, keeping the ISS in a stable orbit. The aim is to extend the space station's life to the year 2030 and potentially beyond. And once the ISS becomes obsolete, it will be deorbited into the Pacific Ocean. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.